What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to SoCal Exploring. My name is Scott, and you're watching your stop for all things theme park and attraction related. Hey, if you guys are new here, consider subscribing down below with those bell notifications on, and leave this video a like at the end if you enjoy it. It helps out the channel a whole lot. And if you aren't already, follow us on our social medias at SoCal Exploring on Twitter and at Exploring Attractions on Instagram, and all that will be linked down below in the description if you choose to go down there and check it out. In today's video on SoCal Exploring, we're talking about Halloween Horror Nights 2021 in Hollywood. Now, HHN Nightmares, the people who put out the speculation maps every year, just released a brand new speculation map for this year's Universal Studios Hollywood HHN event. And as most of you guys may know, there's been a lot of confusion with the different construction tents popping up all across Universal and the theme park. I mean, there's two brand new tents right next to the Curious George parking garage. What could they be? We don't know. But we're going to talk about that in today's video and all these different speculations and my thoughts on the different properties, because there's a couple on there and a couple of things that are on the speculation map that I'm a little bit worried / confused about. Let's first go over the rumored lineup, and like I say in every HHN speculation, none of this is confirmed. This is all just based off of speculation throughout the HHN community. Mazes include the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Beetlejuice, the Walking Dead attraction, The Haunting of Hill House, Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, and The Curse of Pandora's Box 2. Now, I'm just already going to address the elephant in the room, which a lot of you guys are probably confused about just as much as I am, and that is the Curse of Pandora's Box version 2. And now there's an obvious reason why Universal would do this. It's easy on their budget. Universal is going to have a very tight budget this year for Halloween Horror Nights, and if they can create an extra maze to let in a little bit more capacity, then they're going to do that with an easy property to bring to life. Or in this case, it'd be an original in Pandora's Box, since they can just basically reuse set, reuse blacklight paint, and all that fun stuff that we saw in the 2019 maze. But yes, the general thought of that would be to hate on it and say, hey, it's a bad idea, I'm not looking forward to this at all. But me personally, I'm saying, you know what, I'm looking forward to it. Although the Curse of Pandora's Box wasn't the greatest maze in 2019, I still very much enjoyed it, and I think that there was a lot of appreciation that needed to be shown for it. A lot of people can argue that there was reused props and stuff like that from previous HHN years, but if you really took the time to appreciate the storyline that Murdy brought to life in that maze, it was actually a fun maze to walk through. Now, of course, it wasn't on like Ghostbusters level. I'm just saying it was still a fun and decent maze, and it didn't deserve the criticism that it actually got. So I'm curious to see where they would dive into the storyline of Pandora's Box in Pandora's Box version 2 if it happens. I don't know where they'll go with it. I don't know if it'll be kind of like a spin-off or if they'll just continue where they left off from the 2019 maze. And it's rumored that the Pandora Box maze will be located in the second Curious George parking lot tent. And that's where you saw the first tent that I was filming when I recently went out to Universal. There's actually a tent right behind it, so there'd be two mazes in that specific location. Kind of just moving the two tram garage mazes that they had in 2019 over to that spot. Now, people would argue that this is because there could be a Terror Tram this year, which I think is a big possibility. And I think if they were to do a Terror Tram this year, it has to be some type of IP to really bring in the guests. But then again, I'd be fine with seeing Hollywood Harry again, just a different spin-off story. But I think that seeing those two tents being constructed in that spot pretty much confirms that we're going to get some type of Terror Tram experience. There'd be no other reason why they would put them all the way back there. They could just reuse the tram garage location. But, you know, I really think that we're getting Terror Tram, and I think that basically proves it. Anyways, moving into the Parisian Courtyard area, it's rumored that Universal Monsters The Bride of Frankenstein Lives will be coming to Hollywood. Over at HHN Light in Orlando last year, we got to check out The Bride of Frankenstein Lives, and it was a great maze. And one thing that I told myself as soon as I exited that house was, man, I wish that we could see Hollywood pull this off. I would love to compare the two and see which one was better and see the two differences in each of them. So if The Bride of Frankenstein Lives is going to end up in the Parisian Courtyard where the Universal Monsters 2018 maze was at, I'm all for it, and trust me guys, for those who didn't get to experience the one in Orlando, that house was amazing, and I'm sure John Murdy is going to knock out of the park with the maze here in Hollywood. Of course, we've talked about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch many times. I'm super excited if it actually ends up coming to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Obviously, there's been different things leading us to believe that Halloween 3 will end up in the Waterworld spot. at Mr. Scary Dre on Instagram recently posted a photo of the facade that says Silver Shamrock Novelties, which could only mean that that's Halloween 3. The Walking Dead attraction, I'm fine with it. Like I said, it eats up more guests and fans of The Walking Dead, so they can go and wait in line for that maze where we can go enjoy like Beetlejuice or Pandora's box because they'll have low wait times. But yeah, I really don't have anything much to say about The Walking Dead. I hope that they add some new stuff to it, even though I doubt it. I think that it's just for Halloween Horror Nights this year, and after that, they're gutting that show building completely and putting something new there, but that's just my opinion. So woohoo, Walking Dead coming back, yay. Let's see what else we got on here. The Haunting of Hill House in Soundstage 29. Now, I'm curious to see how they pull off Hill House in the soundstage, because I think that out of all the properties on the speculation map, that Hill House is the one that needs to go in there the most. Some fans would argue and say that Beetlejuice could go in there, but I think that Beetlejuice will be fine being in the tent. I'm really crossing my fingers that we get some type of awesome Hill House facade, since it's going to be in the soundstage most likely, and that they can really play around with the lighting and the different effects that you'd be able to pull off in a soundstage compared to being in a traditional like maze tent. But I did mention Beetlejuice, and yes, Beetlejuice is still on the speculation map. That is rumored for the second Curious George location, and I just want to make an early prediction. I think that Hollywood is going to knock it out of the park with Beetlejuice. I think that will probably be my favorite maze out of this year's event, hands down. I think that it'll be better than Orlando's. Sorry to my Orlando audience that's watching right now, but I think that Beetlejuice here will definitely be the highest ranked maze for Halloween Horror Nights 2021, and I'm excited to see the facade, whatever they decide on. If they decide on it being the house, or maybe it'll be Dante's Inferno, that'd be cool too. It'd obviously be a cheaper option, but either way, anything that we get as a facade, I'll be excited to see. I'll be excited to take pictures, and I'm sure it'll be just as beautiful as anything else. And of course, with the Beetlejuice maze also comes Beetlejuice merch and souvenirs and different themed foods. You know, think of the possibilities. And the only other one that we haven't talked about yet is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is rumored for the Mummy queue. I've given my opinions on this in multiple videos. I'm excited for Leatherface to come back, and that's all I really have to say about it. Alright, but let's get into scare zones. Well, there are none. Okay, but hear me out, right? I know it's speculated that there's going to be no scare zones this year, and typically HN Nightmares is like scary accurate with these maps. But I mean, the CDC has already given the go-ahead for places to start operating at 3 feet social distancing compared to 6 feet. And I think by that time in September, in California at least, we'll be to that point where it's only 3 foot social distancing compared to 6. So there'd be no reason for them not to have scare zones. I mean, I think 3 feet between you and a character is a pretty safe bet to still get scared and still have that level of immersion at a haunt event. And in reality, even without COVID, it's still kind of weird to be within 3 feet of people. I mean, that's just me. Like in line, I don't want someone right on top of me. So do I think that scare zones will make a return? Yes, I do think to some extent. I think that we'll have maybe like 2 or 3 scare zones. I'm gonna say 3 max, but it's very possible that we only get 2 bigger scare zones, one in the upper lot location and then one invading the whole lower lot location. One thing that you'll notice is that there are no Metro set locations this year, and thank you if this is true. Thank you to Universal Creative in advance, because I do not like walking back there. It is so long of a walk, and if I want to go to my favorite maze in the back lot area, I get kind of discouraged because I'm like, man, I'm all the way at the upper lot. I don't want to walk all the way down there. It's a far walk for those of you guys who haven't been to Hollywood. So am I okay with sacrificing a couple extra mazes this year to not have to walk back to the Metro set area? Yes, I am perfectly fine with that. I mean, this event in general, I'm fine with this lineup. And you know, if there's people criticizing it, then, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I am all for this lineup. I'm happy with it. We get some really strong intellectual properties with an original maze still. And I know that original maze isn't really original since we had it in 2019, but still, I mean, we get a good mix of both. I mean, early on in speculation, I was speculating, hey, we're either not going to get a Horror Nights this year, or we're only going to get an HHN light with like 2 houses, or 2 mazes, I'm sorry, and no scare zones, no anything like that. That's what I was speculating. But in reality now, it seems like we're going to get a full-on Halloween Horror Nights 2021 event, which I'm all excited for. And you guys got to remember, like I said earlier in the video. Their budget's tight this year, and they're still trying to do the best that they can to deliver an HHN event to you fans that love and cherish the event so much. So even though there's been no announcement yet, there obviously is construction going on, and I just want to say thank you, Universal, and props to you guys for still making it happen this year. I want to know what you guys think of this speculated lineup down below in the comments section. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Or are you in between about it? Let me know down in the comments section. My name is Scott, and you've been watching SoCal Exploring. Positivity is key, and most importantly, remember to keep exploring. Peace out, everybody.